What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have a story time of another one of these Skibidi toilet kids who ends up smashing the subscriber's iPad at school, like destroys the iPad because the subscriber didn't want to play Skibidi toilet for 24,000 freaking hours a day, bro. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy story that I know you'll enjoy. So leave a like on the video right now, and if you leave a like on the video, I will actually give you your very own free nothing. I know, fantastic deal. And subscribe if you're new with notifications on so you never miss a story. And with that being said, let's just jump right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Chris. So anyways, Chris had an iPad. I know a lot of you guys have iPads. In fact, probably quite a lot of you guys watch these videos on iPads. But anyways, right, on Chris's iPad, you know, he had a lot of games or whatever. And at Chris's school, they were actually pretty lenient with people bringing in electronic devices during free periods. So I don't know about you guys, but back when I was in high school and also back when I was in middle school, like any kind of electronic device was a big no-no. Like even like in high school was a little bit more chill, but I know definitely towards late middle school, because for me, it really was around 7th and 8th grade where people got access to phones. I just know that like if you were caught with it, bro, your phone was gone for the day, dude. Anyways, though, so at Chris's school, you were able to kind of bring your iPad or bring whatever you wanted. So this story all starts on not too long ago, right? This happened about a couple weeks ago. Chris was basically sitting at lunch with his friends, and lunch was kind of like, for Chris, lunch was like an elongated free period because he had a lunch period and then he had a free period where he could just like hang out and chill or whatever. So he really enjoyed his lunch blocks because he was able to really just kind of like sit down and just kind of enjoy the time, right? So anyways, sure enough, he sits down, and there's another kid who we're going to call Ben. By the way, to all the new people, no, not all Bens are the same people. I literally just use the name Ben again and again because it's kind of a meme on the channel, and originally because I was lazy with coming up with names. Anyways, though, so there's another kid who we'll call Ben. So, as you guys probably know, there's been an outbreak of Skibidi toilet kids, where basically, look, there's nothing necessarily wrong if you like watching the Skibidi toilet series. I don't get it. I like tried watching it for a second last night. I just got really confused and just watched something else because I was like, huh. But yeah, you're allowed to like what you want, obviously. However, there is a certain degree to which some kids have become so obsessed with the Skibidi toilet. And apparently some moms, too. I've been reading the comment section. I never thought in a million years I'd hear of the existence of a Skibidi toilet mom. But then again, I guess society is doomed. Anyways, though. So yeah, sure enough, there's a kid who we'll call him Ben, and he was very much a Skibidi toilet kid. This kid would sing the Skibidi toilet like Skibidi bop bop bop. Yes, he'd do that all day, man. Like, I swear, it's like an actual brain worm infection with these kids, man. I mean, it's okay if you like that song or whatever, but dude, please do not be singing that 24/7, man. I know for a fact if I was in class with a Skibidi toilet kid and he was singing that song 24/7, I would probably lose my mind. Like, I definitely would lose the very few brain cells I still have remaining after having to tell all these stories, man. Anyways, right, so the kid Ben was also kind of friends with all the other guys. And when I mean kind of friends, I mean it was like a very big friend group. Like Chris was much closer to to a few group of guys or whatever, but the guys he hung out with like on a fairly regular basis was like a big group of guys. It was like almost half the guys in his grade. So it was like a big massive friend group. Basically, they would find a table at lunch and they'd sit down at it. And they would kind of like claim the table or whatever, and they'd stay there through lunch and then also through recess because you're allowed to be in the cafeteria during recess as well. They kind of sit there, they'd talk, whatever. Sometimes Chris would play his games, sometimes they'd play their games, whatever. It was actually fairly chill. Anyways, right, so on a very specific day, and I shouldn't say specific day, just a little bit more, just in general, Ben, the Skibidi toilet kid, would kind of hang out with them. Like, he would kind of be like a random add-on who would sometimes show up, but he wasn't always consistently there. And when he was there, he was always on his own. Like, he brought in, like, a phone every day, and he would, like, put in AirPods, earbuds, headphones. I don't know exactly. He would put in some kind of listening device and literally just watch Skibidi toilet episodes every single day. That's the thing. When Ben, the Skibidi toilet kid, would come to hang out with the subscriber, Chris, and all of his friends, it wasn't even really like he was there because he would show up, sit at the end of the table, not talk to anyone, put in his headphones, and then just listen to Skibidi Toilet for like 10,000 hours straight. So no one really minded the fact that he was there, but that was low-key probably because people didn't even realize he was there. Like, if we're being real about it right now, I think the real reason that no one cared that this kid would always show up was because no one even knew this kid was showing up. Which sounds really mean, but you'll see in a second what happens when the kid is not allowed to just sit there and watch Skibidi Toilet all day. So anyways, with all that being said, on a fateful day around 3 weeks ago, it was a Thursday. There's a little bit of excitement in the air because it's almost Friday, man. You know how that feels. And, people are chilling at lunch. It's the long lunch plus recess break. So Chris is in a good mood, and Chris has his iPad with him today. Chris brings his iPad in every I'd say pretty frequently, not every single day, but pretty frequently. And today they were kind of like all sitting around like watching some like YouTube videos. Oh, maybe they're watching Connor Pugs story times. I don't know. They were watching some kind of like YouTube series or whatever. They were just kind of chilling, watching YouTube videos together. And on this very specific day, for the first time ever, Ben comes to sit with them, and for once, he doesn't actually have his phone with him. So it turns out that his mom doesn't like him bringing his phone into school because she has gotten reports that he's being very antisocial watching his quote unquote toilet episodes on YouTube. And she's like, he can do it, like, you can do that if, you can watch what you want on YouTube, but, and you can enjoy what you want, but please do that at home and not when you're at school so you can socialize with people. So basically, the mom was getting a little bit worried that this kid was not going to have any friends because he was too busy watching Skibidi Toilet videos. So she didn't let him bring in his phone anymore into school. So yeah, while the school would have been fine with him bringing in his phone at the end of the day, if his mom lays down the law, then his mom lays down the law. So yeah, Ben sits there, and I think immediately he's making sighing noises. He's like, and people are looking over, and Chris kind of looks over. Everyone's kind of looking over, why is this kid being so loud right now? Why is this kid actually being difficult, man? I genuinely don't understand. Yeah, so anyways, right, eventually Ben kind of speaks up. He's like, my mom didn't let me bring in my phone today. Oh no, how am I supposed to watch Skibidi Toilet? And the thing is, bro, no one else at that table liked the Skibidi Toilet stuff. The most of them I actually found it annoying because they just didn't find it that entertaining, but also two, they found it annoying because of how often it's spammed everywhere, and not only how often is it spammed everywhere, but also how often Ben sings Skibidi Toilet songs, how often Ben brings it up. Honestly, part of the reason why they dislike it so much is honestly because of Ben himself, which is kind of funny. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, the subscribers kind of just looking at him. It's okay, man, sorry, you can bring in your phone today to watch the same Skibidi Toilet videos again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Oh no, man, I'm so sorry for you. That sucks, buddy. Uh-oh. So that's when Ben has the genius idea. He's like, oh, well, if I can't watch Skibidi Toilet videos on my phone, well, can we just watch the Skibidi Toilet videos on your iPad? And at this point, look, bro, he did... Chris, I was about to call him Sean. I was stumbling for a second because I'm like, what do I call the subscriber again? Look, Chris doesn't want to watch Skibidi Toilet. He knows everyone there doesn't want to watch Skibidi Toilet. No one wants to watch that, bro. I'll just be straight up. No one's trying to watch. No one's like, oh man, it's been a long day at my job being a forklift operator. I'm going to ignore my wife and kids to go sit in my truck and watch Skibidi Toilet, all episodes 1 through 68 or whatever. Dude, that just doesn't happen. Yeah, so anyways, but the thing is, though, Chris isn't going to be no, that sucks. So Chris decides to say, oh, well, so we kind of have, a queue of things we want to watch already, but we can definitely consider, adding that to the queue. But yeah, there's a few other things that the guys here want to watch, but we can add that to the list of things that we're going to watch. And that's honestly a pretty reasonable demand. I mean, that's very fair. If anything, that's pretty generous, bro. You have to think about it. Chris doesn't want to watch it, the Skibidi toilet stuff. No one else at that table wants to watch the Skibidi toilet stuff. The only person who wants to watch that stuff is Ben, the Skibidi toilet kid. And also, it's Chris's iPad. And also, they could have done, honestly, Chris, you know what he probably should have done, or could have easily done, is he could have done like, all right, guys, let's have a vote. Who wants to watch Skibidi Toilet? And then Ben raises his hand. He's like, all right, who doesn't want to watch it? Literally, everyone else raises his hand. He's like, sorry, bud, unless you hate democracy, well, then you're not going to disagree with this and then not watch it. But yeah, he basically offers like, okay, like, sure, I'll add this to the list of things we will watch eventually. Yeah, so anyways, right, sure enough, the subscribers kind of just like, yeah, sorry, bud, we've added it to the list. Which, as I said before, is like, that should be a good thing. Like, honestly, I think the Skibidi Toilet Kid should be, like, rejoicing over the fact that, you know, he's actually maybe going to be able to watch his thing. But the Skibidi Toilet Kid has, like, the exact opposite reaction. So the kid starts freaking out. He's like, what? You said you are denying my access to Skibidi right now, and I will not allow that. Like, you must play Skibidi Toilet right now, or else. And the subscriber is like, Chris is like, dude, what are you saying right now? Because also the thing is like, no kid's gonna vouch for him, bro. Like, no one sitting at this table, none of like the 20 kids sitting at this table are gonna vouch for the Skibidi Toilet Kids. No one's gonna be like, guys, Ben's right. We should just watch Skibidi Toilet all day. Dude, no one's going to end up saying that, bro. Like, that's so ridiculous. No one's actually going to voice that opinion or whatever. So, yeah, Ben is really just the only one there who's voicing that. And this is funny to me that, like, you know, Ben really has no power here, and he's asking. Because, look, Ben doesn't have his phone anymore. Someone has an iPad. He's asking, like, can we play Skibidi Toilet? And he gets a response. Yes, we will eventually play it, which, like, bro, lucky man that they're going to play that stuff, right? Like, the fact that they didn't even just say no is pretty impressive. But Ben is having a mental breakdown because, like, he can't, it's not being played right this very second. Like, come on now. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, Ben is like, oh, like, what, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you must play it immediately or else. And Chris is like, no. Like, no, like, I'm not going to play it immediately. So now at this point, I think Chris even said, like, before Ben had such, like, a bad response to what was being said, he actually wanted to help. Like, he actually was going to play, like, the Skibidi Toilet stuff. Even though he didn't want to, you know, he was like, you know what, this kid asked nicely, whatever, that's fine. But the second that, like, you know, Ben went on his, you must play it now type thing, now he says, Chris is just never going to play it now. He's never going to give this kid what he wants if he's going to act like that, which honestly makes a lot of sense. But anyways, right, so Ben gets up, he's like, fine, if you're not gonna put on Skibidi, then I shall. And he like walks over to where Chris has his iPad, and Chris like starts to like walk away, like he kind of stands up a little bit with his iPad. He's like, yo, bro, like back off. Like, why are you coming for the iPad, bro? Like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I said we are watching Skibidi one way or another. And he starts walking towards the iPad again, and, you know, Chris is like, dude, like, relax. And that's when Ben, like, grabs onto the iPad. Like, he almost springs onto Chris. And so Chris and Ben have, like, a tugging war with the iPad or whatever. And basically, like, eventually, Ben actually rips the iPad out of Chris's hands. I think Chris is generally stronger than the Skibidi kid, but I think he was just so taken aback by just, like, the speed and the, like, ferocity at which the Skibidi kid came in, and like Ben was like demanding the iPad. So yeah, Ben now had the iPad. However, the iPad was locked, like it was on the lock screen. And Ben is like, okay, tell me the password now so I can turn on Skibidi Toilet. And Chris is like, no, like, give me back my iPad. And Ben's like, dude, it's not gonna work like that. We're watching Skibidi Toilet, like there's nothing you can do. And he's just like, dude, like, no, I'm not gonna tell you the lock screen. And Ben looks at him. He's like, dude, you're going to suffer crazy consequences if you don't tell me the lock screen right now. And Ben's like, are you threatening me? And the Skibidi Toilet Kid's like, maybe. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. One way to find out. Which, like, dude, what does that even mean? Like, what is this kid yapping about right now? Dude has actually received his PhD doctorate degree in yapping. Yeah, so anyways, right, sure enough, the Skibidi kid is like, okay, I'm going to count to 3, and if you don't give me your password by the time I count to 3, then you will suffer the consequences. And Ben's like, I'm not giving you my sorry, not Ben. Chris is like, I'm not giving you my password, give me back my iPad. And at this point, all the other guys at the table are starting to, like, get up a little bit. Like, they're basically preparing to, like, circle the Skibidi kid and forcefully get the iPad back and then probably kick him out of the table. Like, let's be real here. And the Skibidi kid's like, 1, 2, don't make me do it. And at this point, Chris actually has no idea what the quote-unquote consequence will be, but he does not see he doesn't see what the Skibidi kid's about to do coming at all. Like, it actually catches him off guard, like, super catches him off guard. So anyways, the Skibidi toilet kid's like, 1, 2, 3, and then he said, don't say I didn't warn you. And then he lifts the iPad above his head, and he screams out, for Skibidi, which is, like, so cringe to say. Anyways, and then he throws the iPad down as hard as he could, and it went face first down, meaning that, like, the glass side made immediate contact with the ground. So, and you could just hear, like, the sound of glass shattering, dude. Like, that, you just already know that glass is gone, bro. Like, it's gone, dude. And yeah, so everyone is dead silent for a second because the Skibidi Toilet Kid literally just smashed his iPad over not being able to watch Skibidi Toilet immediately. Not even not being able to watch it in general, just not being able to watch it within a second of seeing the iPad, right? Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, I want you to comment Skibidi down below. I've had people comment toilet as a secret word, but comment Skibidi down below. Let's mix it up. Just want to see how many people made it this far into the video. And also, if you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure you rated the podcast 5 stars and also answer the Q&A poll question. And yeah, if you're on YouTube, make sure you've subscribed with those notifications on so you never miss another story time video. And with that being said, let's just jump right back into it. So yeah, at this point, smashed iPad on the floor. Everyone's dead silent because they're just like, no one saw this coming. Like, I knew that the Skibidi kid was, like, a little weird, but this is just such an absurd escalation that made honestly no sense. Like, they were probably thinking that, like, the punishment or, like, oh, I'm going to get you, whatever, would have been, like, running away with the iPad, would have been, like, spamming a bunch of numbers in the password so it auto-locks for, like, an hour or something annoying. But this is, like, a whole new level. So eventually, Chris is like, dude. Yeah, so anyways, Ben, the Skibidi Toilet Kid, I think, started to realize, I don't know, I feel like he had such confidence in his actions until he actually committed the actions, and then he's like, oh, maybe this is not such a good idea after all. Yeah, so eventually, Ben, the Skibidi Toilet Kid, is like, he's like, well, that was deserved, right? Right, guys? And I don't know why Ben would ever turn to the other people for support after smashing their close friend's iPad because he wouldn't immediately play Skibidi Toilet. Like, dude, like, why are you going to them being like, guys, right, guys? Like, no, just stop. Like, it's time for you to stop is what I'm trying to, it's time for you to stop, bro. Yeah, so anyways, eventually, all the guys are like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why would he, like, everyone, like, after, like, 30 seconds of dead silence, everyone basically erupts into, like, angry, like, yelling and stuff, dude. Like, people are not happy, which I mean, I totally understand, bro. I wouldn't be happy with that either, bro. Like, I would be mad too. Anyways, though, so yeah, eventually the Skibidi Toilet Kid's like, well, I'm gonna leave because I'm being bullied right now. And everyone's like, bro, what do you mean you're being bullied? You literally came here and smashed our friend's iPad. Like, dude, what? Here's the thing, though. One of the kids immediately, and like Ben and them were going back and forth. And Ben was trying to defend his actions, and his actions are just honestly not defensible, bro. But while that was like, immediately after the iPad got smashed, a kid immediately got up and left, and no one really knew where that kid went. But after Ben was, like, yelling, and they're going back and forth, Ben was eventually like, you know what? Since you guys are bullying me so much, I am actually going to leave because I am anti-bullying, unlike you guys who seem to be very pro-bullying. I am very disappointed in all of you right now. And he, like, gets up and he's about to leave when he's stopped with, like, a hand on his back, like a hand on his shoulder. And you hear, hey, Ben, like, could you stay here for a second, actually? I want to get down to the bottom of something. And sure enough, it was their principal. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so anyways, the kid who immediately got up as soon as the iPad was smashed must have immediately gone to try and find the nearest teacher he could, which I guess the principal must have been walking by. So the kid must have been like, hey, can you come over quick? This kid, Ben, just like smashed my friend's iPad for no good reason. Can you come over and help solve this or whatever? So I'm sure the principal's like, what? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, I'll be there. So walking over. So yeah, and the principal's like, hey, so I heard that there's a little bit of and he looks over at the floor and there's an iPad face down. So not Brian, I'm thinking Family Guy, because I thought of the subscriber's name Chris from Chris Griffin from Family Guy, so that's why I was about to call him Brian. Peter, anyway, sorry. Chris Griffin walks over and he goes to pick up his smashed iPad, and he picks it up and it's absolutely destroyed. And the principal looks at Ben. He's like, Ben, did you do this? And Ben's like, it was for Skibidi. Yeah, so believe it or not, that actually wasn't a convincing excuse for smashing his iPad. So the principal's like, all right, Ben, you're going to have to come with me. And he's like, Chris, can you come with me too, just so I can have the full story? And he's like, can I also have one of you random guys here come to, like, basically tell me the story as well? Because principal was going to interview them all, like, privately and then get the recount from all of them and then just to see whose story added up the most. Yeah, so anyways, all three of them, or Chris, Ben, and another one of the random kids went over. And, I mean, no one's on the Skibidi Toilet Kid side. Because, like, dude, are you actually going to say, oh, yes, no, he was in the right because he wanted to watch Skibidi Toilet. How dare he not be allowed to watch? Like, dude, shut up. Like, bro, he's so obviously in the wrong. It's funny, dude. It's almost funny how badly he's in the wrong here. So, yeah, anyways, the principal goes there, and Ben is just, like, so angry looking, which Chris is so confused why Ben is the angry one when Ben was the one who, for no reason, smashed his iPad. Like, Chris now doesn't have an iPad. Like, Chris was remarkably calm and collected during this whole thing, dude. Like, he was remarkably calm and collected is what I'm trying to say. Like, dude, like, that's the thing. And so, okay, so the principal's like, all right, well, like, we obviously got to contact your mom, Ben. And Ben's like, no, don't, please, she's going to ban me from watching Skibidi when I get home. Please, no. And the principal's like, you really leave me with no choice here. Like you actually leave me with no choice. He's like, no, I'll do anything. Chris, I'll do your homework for the rest of the year. And the principal's like, you can't just say that you'll do his homework in front of me. Like, what? Which is like, yeah, it's like the principal's not going to allow that. So anyways, right, eventually Ben's mom was called and she comes in within like 20 minutes. She must have like been in the area for some reason, super speedy. And she's like, oh my God, like, do not tell me this is because of that stupid Skibidi toilet. And Ben is crying like, Mom, please don't take Skibidi away from me, no. And at this point, like, Chris is like, oh my God, like, this Skibidi toilet disease